there was a point in your dad's leadership. He advocated for college medical office to stock condoms for taking, especially at the end of the day on Fridays.
Hmm.
I must explain that this is one of the cultural shock that I experienced when I first came to America, because I did my undergraduate in Nigeria, and I went to the clinic. I came to the clinic in America, and I went to the clinic, and they saw a pile of I saw a pile of condoms, and I said, "Oh, pick as much as you can," because I was like, "What for?" When I also now read the book, I was like, "Oh yeah, it's not only at that level." My question is, because I'm in health sciences, I do research in HIV, and also have some experience in cancer and things like that. How effective did you think that was, and how 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 should that be presented to kids in this age, such that it's actually doing what it's supposed to do?
Yes, great question. And I think, and putting myself in my dad's shoes, that was genius. Because, and it's of course prevalent now, teenagers will be teenagers. Teenagers want to explore with each other, and he had already seen, as an administrator, the after effects of that. So now you have young ladies who are pregnant in school. They may not be able to finish school now, or whatever. They have the baby, and now it's all about childcare and who's the father. So he was always thinking about the post activity. So if you could go ahead and back up and prevent, get to the root cause. He knew he couldn't stop having kids from having sex. But he could at least assist in having them do it safely, and enabling them to not have to have a conversation later on with both parents, hers and his, around the possibility of there being a child on the way. And I think his mindset about that was great. And I don't know if a lot of, I'm sure schools do that today. Way back when, it was probably, oh my God, it's taboo. Why would you do that? But in certain school districts, you can't stop the kids from being kids. And I believe, and even today when we talk about what some of the legislative rulings going on pertaining to abortion and Planned Parenthood and things like that, it's a shame because sometimes people make mistakes. So we don't want to. We can always, certain mistakes you can fix, and certain mistakes you cannot. And his thought was, if I could help prevent some of these mistakes, then I've done my job. So that was a wonderful thing that he did. I don't know how often he had to restock the machine, but it was genius. And it saved also the child from having to go into a store or whatever it may have been, because there's a bit of an embarrassment piece there too. So it really
Wow.
was helping shield the children from having to go someplace and purchase
Yeah.
such items. If they could get it somewhere where there's wherever he had the vending machine, but at least they were in the building and it was a little bit more secured.
Good. Good. Thank you for sharing that. That's very powerful. I think it's something that can be very helpful to support people at that young age. You talk